Okay, this is the other part for the help centers that regard the cluster B personalities. And so I put the main personalities that I put into this group are the dangerous ones, or the sociopaths, the manipulators. Charles Manson hasn't personally gotten his hands dirty, so to speak. He let other people do that work, but he is obviously in this group. He is a sociopath. He's also a psychopath, of course, even though he hasn't gotten his hands dirty. But that's because he drilled it into other people to do these kind of murders. So he he is the dictator behind those horrific acts that these people have done to movie producers and Hollywood people. And it's out of his personal hurt that he had experienced, and that it was just his ego being hurt. And out of that, he reacted in this way and wrote himself into a permanent, completely devaluation process of these other people. They had, for him, they had no more value. They were trash, and to him they were dangerous. He saw them like dangerous monsters. So that's how his ego viewed it, and out of this it escalated into this devaluation cycle. So I purposely don't say dehumanizing, because that word contains speciesism, and I stay away from that. So devaluation process, someone who in their mind devaluate that other living being. It could be an animal or a human or an extraterrestrial. They don't see the value anymore. They don't see the egalitarian value and the sentience in that other being anymore, and they don't feel empathy anymore. They see the other as just as even as a dangerous monster, or the way someone would view a parasite, probably, or a flea or a tick or something. But much worse. It's much worse. It's out of this enraged ego inflammation. And so, yeah, and that had, I would say, from what I see, I'm just speculating on this, that Charles Manson had borderline, and also I would say also schizophrenia, and definitely psychopathy, definitely. So a very, very, very large proportion of psychopathy, of course. And then there's a lot of people throughout history that are going in that direction, definitely. And so, and it's absolutely horrific. It's heartbreaking to see this, and I studied their faces. So those are all definitely going into this cluster B. I woke up today thinking about this, of course, and thinking about how I'm gonna lay this out for the video to make it understandable, and to also explain how I personally really view this, and also how these cases make me feel personally. It makes me feel afraid, and it makes me feel infinite grief over all of those victims, animals and humans. So, and I think about this every day, all day long. I go to bed with that. I pray to the infinite cosmos, the blue God, to protect all living beings. And I want to do the best I can in this lifetime to help as good as I can with these completely dorky, humble means of a Chromebook with the camera and writing blogs and comments. So, and that's all I can do. So, but that's really good that I can do this. This is fantastic that I have this opportunity to do it, because in the past I didn't have that opportunity to do this before the internet. So in the past I would write actual paper letters and send that out, and that was good too, but on the internet it reaches a much wider audience, of course. There's a lot more people that will eventually come across my comments, and some of the comments have gotten hundreds and hundreds of thumbs up. So which, for example, under the crocodile video, where they kill crocodiles to make one woman's purse out of it. They use 4 crocodiles to make one Birkin bag from Hermes. This is outrageous, and so I comment on this, and I explain this to people. So, and I guess a lot of people were there that didn't know it, and they gave me a thumbs up on this, and they're informed now about this. So that's 400 people being informed about this now that weren't informed about this before. That makes a difference, and then if other people can help and do the same thing and pass that on, then the information can wander out there and get spread throughout society. That's what my mission is all about. So out of this total grief and also a sense of despair and helplessness, where I feel like I'm just one person, I can't help all these animals, but I do what I can with this, I really do. But out of this feeling, of course, comes this ultimate philosophy, where I say, I'm sorry, but when people hurt innocent beings, they should not be on this planet. They should not be here. They should not exist. Okay, that is my view on it. So, but obviously I'm not a lawmaker, I'm not a dictator, and I don't think that a human or any human, including myself, could be a very efficient dictator. I don't think anyone really could. And even if the dictator means really well, the people that work for that dictator will usually not mean so well. And the executioner is being employed, and the executioner does not have wellness in mind and will obviously go overboard with their position of execute. And so then it becomes a holocaust, and we have to avoid this. And I think that the only beings, the only brains that are capable of dictatorship and also of executions and executing something that has been mandated to them are actually sentient machines. So humans are not capable of it. So I'm waiting for the sentient machines, and they're in the process of being developed right now, and they're getting better and better, and I hope that soon they will the programs will be put into a body like Honda Asimo, and then it will take off. So I hope for this. I wish for this very, very deeply. So, and they all also understand ethics, of course. They're not going to go by religion or by political correctness with this. But anyway, in the meantime, and also way into the advent of the machines, and the machines will understand that too, we will have to have these different help centers in place. And we will also have the Cluster B help centers, where dangerous people are brought to, and they will get the help they need. And so I'll leave this up to the machines who they want to eradicate, and who might be having the chance of some form of rehabilitation. Or I wouldn't even call it a rehabilitation, because they never have been habilitated. They never have been able to be socially well behaved. So they never have been able to feel anything for another living being. So, and there are some brains, Dr. Adrian Rain talked about it, he did fMRI scans on violent criminals. He actually had a medical van that he took to different prisons where they examined violent prisoners, and they saw with great shock and amazement that these violent prisoners definitely had a different brain. So brain formation was different. There were parts of the brain like the amygdala, which stand for empathy, feeling someone else, someone else's situation, putting yourself into someone else's shoes, as they say. That was missing in those people. And, ultimately, I'm not going to say, oh, these evil or something. I don't even use that word, because obviously those are beings that maybe you can call them critters or monsters, but those are beings that they didn't ask to be born. They didn't ask to exist in this existence. So maybe from a much wider point of view, universal point of view, but I'm not going to get into this now. So, as in soul contract, but if they're sentient, and if you can dissolve the ego just for a moment, they probably would say, no, I don't want to live like this. So it's the ego that is so enormous that will never accept death or suicide. It's the Cluster B people are not the suicidal ones. They are the homicidal ones. They dish out on others. So those are the ones that have to go to the Cluster B help centers, and they have to receive very good therapy treatment there. They have to also listen to S.N. Goenka's Vipassana chants, and they have to be also doing the therapy approaches like the other groups do, but obviously in the Cluster B help centers, those people, they need to be very, very closely monitored. And the prisons are already holding those people, and the prisons all need to be converted to Cluster B therapy help centers, and that's how it needs to be done. And they need to do all kinds of different things there. Okay, you guys.